Well, hello, Desert Ridge Academy 6th graders. Today's lesson is going to be on finding MAD. MAD stands for mean absolute deviation. So our essential question is, what are the steps for finding the mean absolute deviation, or MAD, for a set of data? Now, when we talk about finding MAD, what we're actually doing is finding the average distance. So we're back to, we know mean means average, the average distance of all the values from the mean. Now, hopefully you got to see the review video for absolute value, so you have that in the back of your head. Because ultimately what we're going to be doing here is, if we have some numbers, I'm just going to draw a little number line. Let's say we have 5, that's our featured number. So after we've found our average, we're looking for the distance each number is from our average. So if our average was 5, we're looking for how far away from 5 on average each number is. It doesn't matter if we had to go backwards, where we would have seen a negative number, because that's where absolute value comes in. So we know that with absolute value, all numbers, because it's a measure of distance, is positive, or if it was a positive number. So we had to move up to get to 5, or back to get from 5, in which case it's still going to be a positive number because we're talking about distance. So keep that in mind as we find the MAD for the following sets. We have 3 of them. All right, set 1 is a description of the number of siblings in different sets of families. All right, so we know siblings would be brothers or sisters. So the first step when we're finding MAD would be to actually find the mean. We need to know what the mean is. So that's what we're going to do first. You know it's 2 steps. You're going to add up all the numbers. So I have 2, 5, 8, 9, 7. Then my next row would have been 6, 3, 5, 1, and 4. So I'm going to add all of those up. And hopefully your calculator is next to you, so you get to use it, and you get a sum of 50. The next step, once you take your sum, would be to then divide that by the number of numbers you have in your set. So how many numbers are in this set? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 numbers in the set. So we would divide by 10. That's going to give us our mean, which is 5. So the average number for this set would be 5. Now 5 is the number we're basing everything off of. We want to know how far each of these numbers we have is from the number 5. We want to know its distance from 5. So we come up to step 2, so part 2. I'll draw a line so I can keep that organized. So now on to part 2, where we have the numbers in our set. So our number of siblings. There we go. And then we're going to look for how far each of those numbers are away from 5. So I'm just going to put a D for distance away from 5. That's what we're looking for. So let me copy down my numbers. I had 2, then 5, 8, 9, 7, 6, 3, 5, 1, and 4. Those are the numbers in my set. And we're looking for how far away from 5 is 2. So if we had to go from 2 to count up to 5, it would be 3. It's a distance of 3 away by 3. And then next, 5, how do we have? Do we have to count up or go back to get to 5? Nope, there's no distance there. It's actually at our desired number. What about 8? 8 to get to 5, we'd have to subtract 3. But we know because we're doing absolute value, we're just looking for its distance, so it'd be 3. How far away is 9 from 5? So 5 from 9, that would be 4. How far away is 5 from 7? That would be 2. How far away is 5 from 6? 1. 5 from 3? 2, 5, and 5 are at the exact same spot. How far away is 1 from 5? That would be 4. And how far away is 4 from 5? 1. So we're just looking for their absolute values, remember. Their absolute values. All right, so now we have their total distances from our desired number 5. Step 3, our final step, is just to find their average. We want to know the average distance each number is away from 5, our mean. So that means we're going to take all of these numbers and we're going to add them together. So again, hopefully you have your calculator with you and ready. Go ahead and add those up and we get 20. And again, there are 10 numbers in this set. So we divide by 10. So our answer would be 2. Our MAD is 2. And now let's interpret. What does this actually mean? It means the average distance each data value is from the mean is 2. So in this case, 2 siblings. And indeed, it is 2. Our average distance away from the mean is 2. In this case, again, 2 siblings. And that's how we find MAD. It's just telling us basically how far away from the mean most of the numbers are. Or on average, the numbers are. All right, let's try that again now with typing speeds. So this is going to be in words per minute. So how many words were typed per minute? So we have 6 entries. So it would be 6 numbers. So again, starting with step 1, which would be just to find the mean, the number we're going to center everything around. So first step in finding the mean, we add together 47, 54, 66, 54, 46, and 66. So we add all of those up. Perfect time to use your calculator. And we get 333. So then we look for how many numbers are in the set. There are 6 numbers in the set, which means we're dividing by 6. And our mean would then come to, so calculator, 55 and 5/10. That's our mean. So this is a number we're comparing all the other numbers to, their distance away from it. So now on to step 2, where we find their distance away. We have our typing speed. I'm just going to put TS for typing speed. We have those numbers. We're going to compare it to their distance away from, and we're looking at 55 and 5/10. And again, when we do this, so when we're like putting in our first one, which is 47, and we want to know how far it is away from 55 and 5/10, so you do 47 minus 55 and 5/10. When we put that in, you're going to get a negative number. But because it's absolute value, remember, when you come out of it, when you come out of absolute value, your answer is always positive because it's a measure of distance. So we're just going to record it as a positive number. All right. So when you did 47 minus 55 and 5/10, you should have gotten negative 8.5. But again, we're talking about distance, so it's a positive number. So you have 8.5. It's 8 and 5/10 away from 55 and 5/10. You can do the same thing for 54, 66, 54, 46, and then 66. So perfect time to use your calculator. You're going to do 54 minus 55 and 5/10, you would have gotten a negative number. But again, because we're talking in absolute value, when we come out of it, it's going to be positive. So we record it as a positive number. All right, 66 minus 55 and 5/10, that would bring us to 10 and 5/10. And we have two of those, so I'm going to record that here. And we had 254, so I'm going to record that also. And the only one I have to do left is 46 minus 55 and 5/10. Again, you would have gotten a negative number, but because we're measuring a distance, it's absolute value, so we record it as positive. All right, so we have our distances away from our featured number 55 and 5/10, our average. So we take these and we're going to add them together. They make up the numbers in our next set. So you add those up, calculator of course, and you would have gotten 42. Now there are 6 numbers in our set. So we have 6 numbers in the set, so we're dividing by 6, and we get 7, which is the average distance each number is away from. Our mean in this set would be 7. So we could record this as the average distance each data value is from the mean is 7 words. Value. All right. And if you need to pause so you can catch up, go right ahead and do that. But I'm going to continue to our final example. Example C. For example C, we're looking at a play. We have the age of all the people participating in this play. So we're going to find the mean absolute deviation. So the average distance each number is away from the mean. So just like before, if you want to pause it and try it yourself, go ahead and then come back to me, or you can do it along right with me. All right, step 1 is to find the actual mean. So let's record these numbers. We have 21, 25, 29, 28. I'm skipping one. We have another 21. Next, 22, 26. I already wrote 28, so I need 22. Let's see, there are 8 numbers. 8 numbers. Perfect. All right, and so first step to finding mean is we add them all up. So go ahead and use your calculator. Record that. You should have gotten 194. All right, and we already identified that there are 8 numbers in the set, which means we are dividing by 8 to give us our mean. In this case, comes to 24 and 25/100ths. So that's the number we're comparing everything to. So we have some higher, some lower than that number. All right, on to step 2. We have our ages. So that would be 21, 25, 29, 28, 21, 22, 26, and 22. And we want to know their distance from our mean, which is, in this case, 24 and 25/100ths. So again, it's absolute value. So you're going to put the number in like 21 and take away 24 and 25/100ths. We want to know what the distance is. And again, when we come out, that's when we're going to make sure it's positive, because distance is a positive measurement. All right, so using your calculator, you put 21 minus 24 and 25/100ths, and you would have gotten a difference of -3 and 25/100ths. But because it's absolute value, you're recording it as positive. And then 25 would have come to 75 hundredths. 29 would have come to 4 75 hundredths. 21 we already have. Let me write that down here. 3 25 hundredths. Next we have 28, which would have been a difference of 3 75 hundredths. So you put in 28 minus 24 25 hundredths, and out would have popped your number. And again, we're looking for positive because we're talking absolute value. For 22, we have 2 25 hundredths. So even though it came out negative when you did 22 minus 24 25 hundredths, remember it's absolute value. So you're looking for it's positive because it's a measure of distance. Let's see, 26 would have been 1 75 hundredths. And then our final 22, which would have been 2 25 hundredths. All right, so we have the totals we have the numbers for our next set. So we're going to take these, step 3, these distances away, and we're going to add them together to find their mean, so the average distance away. So we add this together, use your calculator. You would have gotten the sum of 22. And there are 8 numbers in the set, so you're dividing by 8. And our MAD comes to 2 75 hundredths. So to interpret, we have the average. Make sure you can see. Distance. Each value is from the mean. We know our mean was 24 25 hundredths. So the distance away would have been 2 75 hundredths, and this is years. So we can put that in. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you find MAD, the mean absolute deviation.